Can you hear me now? Is anyone still here? We have two people. One of them is giving me a hug. One of them is crying. Thank you for the hug, and I'm sorry for the techie business here. I got comments, so that's new. Can you guys hear me? What I've done is yes, Shannon says yes. Dorothy, are you still here? I'm just using my laptop now. Here's the dastardly, this was working as a camera, but it's supposed to be a camera microphone. The mic wasn't working. So we're gonna figure that out later. Yes, hello, Joy. Thank you, thank you. You can hear me. I'm probably gonna need more of Jill's help here. The camera is up there. So can you help? Because what I wanna do is have my viewers see what I'm working on.
I'm gonna have to move that.
Thank God for Jill. That's all I can say.
I don't know how this is gonna work out.
So we're gonna just knock this down like that. You're seeing some of my keyboard here and the duct tape that's holding it all together, but we're nothing if we're not real here in Afton, Minnesota at Liza Jane Designs. We are all about keeping it real. So here this is, we're recording now. Just from the laptop camera. It has its own shortcomings, but hopefully we can make this work. So if you're still with me, we are cutting the napkin using water, a paintbrush with water, and a little bit of gentle tearing so that we get that raggedy edge that will disappear into our backgrounds. I'm going to take a little more of this away because it's a sharp edge. I don't want that. And we're going to barrel on through making this work as best we can. So I'm cutting out the sunflowers from the napkin I got from my niece Kelly. Kelly, if you're watching either live or on the replay, I want to thank you so much for these napkins. I love them. It's another thing I can collect when I go around to restaurants and stores is pretty napkins. So you guys, you know, without becoming hoarders, we want to walk that line and stay not quite hoarding, but people with great collections. There's a difference, right? Right, Jill?
Yes.
Yes, it's not hoarding.
Yes.
What did I read the other day? It's not hoarding if your stuff is cool. So we'll just keep collecting cool stuff. And I think what's important is not being afraid to use it in our projects. So it's hoarding if all you do is, you know, leave it sitting on the shelf. But even that, I gotta say, my philosophy on that is if having it brings you joy and pleasure, I don't know, what's wrong with that? Sometimes I just like to sit amongst my art supplies, my paints and my napkins and just sometimes I take comfort. It's like I don't know, it's my version of a teddy bear maybe. My art supplies bring me solace. And I am often in need of solace. I don't know about you guys, but the world and just life is crazy. Crazy in a good way, crazy in a not so good way sometimes. I'm just taking these apart. Now, if you tuned in later, I'm just gonna remind that we separate the napkin into single ply. We don't want to work with a whole napkin. We take away, it's usually 3 ply, sometimes 2, but take away the plain unprinted areas. And here's where we're going to get into the tips, right? I'm going to try to move the laptop, show you the table again. So I'm going to be putting these flowers, I'm going to put them on the edges. So you know, they don't end so abruptly. We're going to have a nice image of that. But if I were to just decoupage this with decoupage medium, what would happen is those red stripes would show through. And I don't want that. I mean, sometimes you might want that, but this time I do not want that. I want the flowers to pop against a white background. And thanks to Royce, I know that I don't have to make it all complicated and try to determine where the flowers are going to line up and paint that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the back of the flowers with white paint. There's another tip, Jill. It's good you came in. These are worth the price of admission tips for layering decoupage.
Tissue paper too.
Pardon?
Do the same technique.
Yes, you would do. If you were using just decoupage tissue, you would also do this. Decoupage tissues and napkins are wonderful for decoupage because they disappear into the, I'm going to spritz these. They disappear. I'm getting them a little bit wet using a spray bottle here. So I'm getting it a little wet because the paint will transfer. I'm going to be using some Debbie's DIY paint in White Swan. I have this in a FIFO bottle, first in, first out, restaurant supplies. Another trick I learned from Royce. Grabbing a brush, trying to keep everything into the view here. And we're just going to paint the image, if you can see. I'm painting where it's printed. I'm painting it white. And I love these kinds of things because they're like adult coloring. I'm just covering over the areas that have printing. And we're going to do this and then let it dry thoroughly. And then we'll decoupage it onto the striped ticking tissue, just using a regular clear coated decoupage medium, clear coat of decoupage medium. So I'm hoping one of these will be dry enough before we sign off. I lost a lot of my viewers through my technical problems, but I hope people who joined earlier and got frustrated might come back for a replay. I am hoping to be regular on a schedule of being live on my own page Saturday afternoons at 1 o'clock. So the 4 people who are watching, I'm committing that to you. I will do my very best. We'll have Saturdays from the shop here in Afton. So if anyone is local, come join for all the chaotic fun. You can help out or just learn in person. We'll try to have fun little projects Saturdays at 1, Saturdays in the shop. What do you think, Jill? Is there a cuter name for it?
I think that works. All
right, Saturday sunshine in the shop. Sunshine, I don't know. If anyone's listening and they have, yes, Joyce says buying supplies and creating are 2 different hobbies. I agree. They are 2 hobbies, and each one of those hobbies can bring us great joy, you know? So don't feel bad about your supplies, but don't be afraid of your supplies either. They are meant to be used.
I think we need to have a sale here of supplies because I have a lot of them because I enjoy the act of collecting supplies.
I think that would be fun. Let's do it. We could have a garage sale. I have lots of furniture too in storage that my husband keeps threatening me. Well, he's not happy. He doesn't threaten me bodily or anything, but he threatens me with his ire that he's going to be upset if I don't get rid of some of it. sometime soon. So I am hoping to do in-person and video lessons in different furniture painting techniques. I have an awesome kit that I got from Debbie's DIY Paint on, I think it's like 12 different furniture painting techniques. So we're going to be doing some of that on our Saturdays in the shop live video presentations. I'm continuing just to paint the back of these napkins. If I need to re-wet, I will. Keeping the napkin a little bit damp. You don't want it soaking wet, but a little. This is a fine mister bottle. Keeping it a little bit wet keeps the paint from dragging. You don't want to tear your napkins. And I am just putting the white over the color where it's been printed, because some of the background on these napkins was neutral. I'm not trying to cover that up, because I think that would just draw more attention to the fact that it's a tissue sitting on top of the other decoupage paper. I want the imagery to pop, and I want the background paper to pop. So there's that. I'm going to keep on going and hope that one of these will dry enough. Jill, how would you like to kind of swing that around without letting it get ripped? Yeah, so Jill's going to help with the hand drying of the first image, so he hopefully can at least get one of those on. I love that decoupage has had a renaissance here in the DIY world, and I am so thrilled and honored to be a part of Royce Hunt Bell's community of creative folks. I sell some other decoupage things, but I have Royce's complete line of papers, and I love the company, I love the philosophy, and it's all about creating in community, having fun, and I've learned so much. So we get basic, decoupage 101, which is applying some kind of paper or tissue or fabric to a different surface. It's a kind of surface design process, right? You add pattern and color using paper and fabric. So there's your basic. You just slap that on there, seal it, and you're good to go. But then you can expand from that and layer your decoupage with transfers and stamps or other decoupage images, like I am trying to demonstrate here, that we've got these flowers. Is it pretty dry? It's a little wet yet. So I'm going to show it to you if I can. I have hair dryers. I have blow dryers. They're upstairs. It's okay. I think I'm going to just keep blathering. Let me come up and blather with any of my friends here. You guys still there? I have a few people still watching. Thank you for that. Karen, yes, I am painting the back of that napkin. So here's the front, here's the back. And the purpose of this, right, is to, I don't know if you know this. I don't want to assume that people know things, but when I decoupage a thin material like a napkin or a tissue paper, I find that it is the very best to generally paint the background of what I'm doing. I paint it with a bright white and then attach the decoupage paper to it. So that's what I did with the ticking fabric. If you've been watching a while, you saw that. If you didn't see it, I'll be showing it again in a few minutes. So I painted the top of the table white. Then I applied the ticking decoupage tissue. So it really was full brightness that way. Now I want to apply these sunflowers on top of the ticking, but I don't want the stripes and the ticking paper to show through in my sunflowers. So instead of painting white on the table under the sunflower where it's going to go, I painted behind the napkin. So this will be opaque now as soon as it dries, and it will pop again. Hi, Karen. Yeah, so this will help make this image pop when I put it on the striped background. We're getting kind of close to being dry. Something that would work wonderfully if more of these were dry, if I were a little better prepared, I would have brought my heat gun along and I would be drying these like so, right? They'd be getting dry. And then I could use this cellophane as a way of moving. I'm gonna see if I got a pair of scissors out here. Yeah, so I'm gonna just do this because when this dries, it will be kind of delicate and I don't want it to stick on itself. But I'll be able to take this whole cellophane thing, right, and bring it to my surface and put it on. Is that making sense? Finally, hi Lori, thanks for coming back. So please go back and, catch the part that you guys missed when I was having audio problems. I'll try to kind of rehash too, but we have taken out the napkins. I have painted the back white, the single layer. I'm thinking this might be dry enough to try now, so I'm going to move my laptop over again. I'm really glad my friend Jill's here to help. But like I said, we keep it real. There's nothing fancy, nothing fancy here. I've got the flower. Here is the tabletop that the ticking tissue was applied to. I'm going to take where there's a straight line of, and I'm going to go off the edge with it. There. So that's where that flower is going to go on here. I want to say that I chose these napkins because they have the blue of the table legs and there's kind of a red reflection in the sunflower petals. So I think it's going to work really well. I'm using DIY liquid patina. It's one of my very favorite decoupage mediums because it's got some body to it. So you see the white paint isn't quite dry, but that's okay. I'm gonna put the tissue here, and so there is the liquid patina on the table. I'm going to put the flower back, going off the edge so it looks natural and organic and not a severe straight line. I want to make sure, let's see, can you see? Bring the laptop over a little more. So there we go. I'm going to put that, tap that down. So I did not paint where the napkin was unprinted. I kept that. So you are going to be able to see the stripes under that. But the white is behind the printed of the napkin. And I'm just going to put the decoupage medium over the top. I always end up using my fingers Sometimes I wear gloves, but even when I do, I usually end up taking them off. But, so there is sunflower number 1 added to that table. When the decoupage medium dries, it'll be transparent. I might, layer another flower over the top of that so that this edge isn't quite as blunt again. And I think that is really it for, for today and today's topic. So coming back up.
Next week, you can show the finished product.
I will post, when I finish this up, I'll put a post on my Facebook page. I will, let's see, you can save a step if you put the wet paint. Well, there you go, Joy. That is a great, lost audio again. I hope not. I hope you guys can still hear me. It says that the microphone is working. We'll work out these technical difficulties for sure. Joy, that's a good point. Joy says I could put the wet tissue right onto the surface. Let's try that out. Let's not leave yet. Let's take this one that I cut. I cut the transfer cellophane. And I'm going to, yeah, thank you, Jill. I'm going to move the camera back, move the laptop back over. And when I'm not on camera anymore, I'm going to try to figure out my technical things. But Joy said we could just use the wet paint as our, so I'm going to try that. Let's try it. I'm going to put this one over here because it's got 2 straight edges. And just push that down. Can you see that? And this is having this as a transfer mechanism is just really helpful. So we can take the wet napkin, we can lay it on there. Joy, you are totally right. We did not have to let it dry. We could just put the wet paint right on there. I'm smoothing it out gently. And then we're gonna go right back over the top with the liquid patina. Something that I like when using napkins for this is the liquid patina will go right through, and it absorbs through the top of the tissue, and you're really nicely secured that way. So there, thank you, Joy, for that tip. And thank you, Lori. I hope it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to sign off. Here is what, right? We use the ticking fabric, not fabric, it's a ticking decoupage tissue, red striped ticking. And I put that on top of a tabletop that I had painted white. When that dried, I sanded off the edges because it has these scallopy, awesome, awesome scalloped edges. So I sanded those off, removed the excess paper, and today we started with a single ply of a printed napkin. You see those chickens back there, aren't they cute? Again, Roycycled Treasures papers. They're on my website, the papers. If you want a paper that you don't see, just reach out. I update my own website, and sometimes I just don't get to it, or I don't hit all the buttons that I need to hit in order to make everything show up. So I do have all of the Roycycled papers in stock. If you haven't tried them out, please check out just the beautiful designs. If you're not from my local area, there are Roycycled stockists around, but I ship. And if I'm just shipping papers, the shipping costs won't be as much as they are when I'm shipping heavier things. So thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for being patient through the technical problems. We're going to get there, right? I have a bracelet. It says, keep on going. It actually has a swear word in it, but I'm not going to say that on camera, but it says to keep on going. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going until we get it all down, and then we're going to learn new stuff. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your patience. Thanks for your kind words. Love you guys. And I will be seeing you on Saturdays for Saturdays in the Shop, 1 o'clock Central Time. That's a commitment. Bye now.